Hello to everyone watching and listening, and welcome to the third episode of the BME podcast. Today we have a very exciting quest. We are going to dive deep into the world of virtual humans. And for that, we have today with us Mariano Vázquez and Laura Canadell from the company ELEM Biotech, a startup in Barcelona focused on the generation of virtual human organ models. Apart from that, we are going to also learn about their experience and about their view of the field as general. Today, we are very lucky to be accompanied by our new co-host, Salma Imtahar. How are you doing, Salma?
Hi, Gonzalo. Thank you very much. Well, I'm really happy to be here in this new episode.
Yeah, really exciting one.
Yeah.
And back at it again with Mark. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, Gonzalo. Happy to be here again and hope we will do it many times.
Yeah, let's see if we get in a roll now.
Yep.
So why not start introducing our guests?
Of course. Let me start presenting Laura Canadell. Laura has studied Biomedical Science in the University of Wick, and after a couple of internships in the last couple of years, she has ended up working in ELEM Biotech, as we have explained, as an Industry Liaison Trainee in the Business Developer Department. How are you?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me here today. And well, I'm so excited to explain you about a little bit more what I'm doing in ELEM.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks to you.
On the other hand, we have the honor to introduce ELEM Biotech co-founder Mariano Vázquez. Mariano is also CTO and CSO at ELEM and research group co-leader of Alya Systems, supervising a group of 40 researchers. Alya is a large-scale computational mechanics code which is capable of solving multiphysics problems in supercomputers. He is one of the leader researchers in the field of computational mechanics, specially applied to the biomedical realm in Barcelona Supercomputing Center. And Mariano is also the applications manager and member of the executive board of the Center of Excellence in Computational Biomedicine, CompBioMed, which was created in the summer of 2016. First of all, how are you?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm really very happy of being here. Thanks a lot for inviting us.
Thanks to you.
And now, if you are all checked up, let's start with a question, and let's start quite deep. What is a virtual human?
Well, a virtual human, there is a very relatively recent definition. You know, by virtual human, you can understand many different things. So if there is no definition, then each person can use their own definition. So in the last years, there is a European project which is called EDIT, and in this European project is kind of a project in which policies are established and suggested to the European community. And this project is for virtual humans. So the first thing that they do is kind of let us establish a definition so we can focus on that. So a virtual human is a combination of a patient's data set and the mathematical model. And the goal is to predict, as opposed to measure experimentally, to predict certain quantities of interest and to use this model as a support tool for the biomedical research. The mathematical model can be a AI model, can be a mechanistic model in which we use the differential equations that govern a problem, or can be a mixture of them. So the idea of this establishing this definition is that it is wide enough so different applications can fall in, but also precise enough in order not to start deviating. So this is the idea of a virtual human, and this is where we go. It's also known as virtual human twin, but this is the same thing. And this is the idea that our company works on.
Excellent. So currently, if we understand correctly, you're not working on building a whole human avatar. You're working on specific organs or specific processes. Which are those that you are working on right now?
Yes, this is a very interesting point, because for the definition of a virtual human, it says that it is used to predict certain quantities of interest under certain context of use. So it is not like there is the final vision of a full mathematical description of a person, fine. But this is kind of the vision which is very far. so the idea now is to focus to do something that can predict certain quantities under certain contexts of use.
Something that is reachable right now.
Yes, and not for every organ, not for every system, the mathematical models are developed enough. So what we are doing, and most of the people are doing, are trying to focus in specific organs or systems, and also at specific scales, because you can go from the genomic scale up to the system or the healthcare system even. So in our particular case, we are mostly focused on cardiovascular. We are doing many things also on respiratory system, and as a purely R&D exercise, we are doing some things on other organs and other systems. So we can say that we are mostly focused on cardiovascular.
Okay, so for the people at home listening, we saw one project which was mainly done by Alfonso Santiago. It was his PhD thesis, and it was a crazy project. For the people at home to understand, to model the heart, you first have the electrical system that is actually making the muscle contract. So we have an electrical simulation, we have a mechanical simulation of the muscle, and then finally a fluid simulation which moves the blood through the heart. So how, in simple words, how can you model that, and what is the level of complexity that you are trying to get at? Is it a cellular level, a molecular level? Is it how is it? Is it a tissue level?
Yes, what you generally do in these sort of things is kind of establish kind of the boundaries of the model, and then see if you can, for those things that you do not model, how to, first of all, check if this influence is necessary or not, and if it is necessary, then how to make this influence to influence the model. So in our case, there are, as you said, 3 different physics, let's say: electrophysiology, mechanical contraction, and fluid mechanics. Each of them are modeled by their own system of equations. In the case of electrophysiology, you go from the cell up to the tissue and the organ. In the case of the tissue, it is basically the same. So you go from the cell up to the organ. In the case of the fluid mechanics, you don't consider the cells; you consider as a fluid thing, which is the blood. The complexity is very large. The complexity is large not just because of individual models, because the individual models are relatively well known, let's say, but the complexity is on linking all together, on coupling the 3 problems at the same time. So the lower part that would come from the cells, let's say, or proteins, or below the cells, like proteins or genomic information, this thing is not considered. So it is like starting from above. You already know that the cells are behaving in this way.
Is anyone actually going into that complexity, or is it just non-relevant?
No, it's very important, because there are groups that are working only on this part, and we are working on our part. Now, the idea, and this is something in which we are working, the idea would be to add this information also to our model. The important things and the interesting thing of biomedical system or biology, let's say, is that you have the emerging properties of the very low level scales that can come up to the very high level scales. So you cannot just neglect them. You need to, or you model in a way, or you consider its influence.
You assume in a center.
You assuming
way, right?
something, yes, that you are doing. And then the same happen for the upper part, because you cannot, our model cannot be just a heart beating on empty. You have to consider that your heart is inside your body, that it is linked, tightly coupled to the circulatory system. So you need to do something. You are not going to model the chest, but you need to do something in order to consider the proper boundary conditions for the heart and the proper connection and model of a circulatory system. And finally, not every problem in biomedical requires supercomputer. But there are some problems in which this is a must because of the complexity of the model. So that's why we are a spin-off company of Barcelona Supercomputing Center, because the technology was developed there, because we should use these large computational resources.
Totally.
Okay, so in a business point of view, what is the model and what are you trying to sell? Which is the product or service you're selling, and to who are you selling?
Okay, so I would say that there are like two lines of business. I would say that from one part, we have the service we would offer to a pharmaceutical company, because we are so focused on doing in silico clinical cardiac trials and in concrete studies of cardiac safety. So we study at what concentration of the drug does the QT prolongs. So that would be on one part, and in the other part, which we more focused on for hospitals, the service for hospitals, as a personalized medicine tool. So as Mariano was saying, more like a digital twin of a patient, which the doctor can use to, for example, assess what would be the best therapy for the patient.
So you basically do everything. You don't sell the model. You import the data that the hospital wants you to import, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the idea is that our model is deployed in the cloud, and there is a web-based interface through which the customer can interact. We do not sell a license. We do not give the software somewhere, because of, there are many different reasons why. But one important reason is that our code is very portable, so it can run in a telephone. But these complex problems require some computer infrastructure that you don't necessarily have. So this is the main reason. In this way, we just deploy the code in the cloud, in a high performance cloud. We deploy the code there, and you can use it through a web-based interface.
Well, it's more simpler for the user, so...
Yes, it's simpler, yes. It's simpler, it is safer.
Medical data is...
Yeah.
Yes, and also, the medical data can be properly curated. In any case, we have to say that we don't need to know your name. I mean, the data coming from the patient can be anonymized. So we don't need to deal with these sort of problems. And finally, if it is working and it is deployed in the cloud, we don't touch anything. So it is completely secured, and the user can use as he wants. So
it looks like the best option, definitely.
Yeah. Actually, the services would be what I've told you, but the product is what Mariano was saying. It's the platform in which, doctors or pharmaceutical companies can run their simulations.
Yes, this is very important, because what we are solving is not simple, right? So it is very complex. So what we typically do is that if you are a company, a pharmaceutical company, and want to do some things, what we typically do is you come first to us, you tell us what is the problem that you would like to do. We see if we can deploy the solution for you to use it, but it is likely that the kind of problem that you would like to do is not already in the platform. So what we typically do is a first stage of consultancy, let's say, in which we understand your problem, we give you the results, so you give us some data, we give you the results, and then once we understand, the platform is pretty flexible, so we can prepare everything for you to run your own problems.
Which are the typical outcomes of the interface? Because I guess each doctor has one question. How do you adapt these questions to your interface, and which are the most used?
Yes, at the moment, as Laura said, we have one bunch of services or product area, let's say, which is the in silico clinical trial. in this case, what the customer wants is, I have a product, can be a medical device or a pharmaceutical product, and I want to study a given problem. It is like performing a real clinical trial, but in a virtual population. So in this case, what they want to see is, so they set up the kind of population you want to study. They set up the kind of problem, the therapy they want to study. They launch the in silico clinical trial, and they wait. So in this case, the information that they have is some individual information of each of the patients, but they are not interested in that. They are interested on the statistical thing. So they want to see some plots that describe how this therapy works. In the case of, this is what we are doing now. What we are doing, and can be for, as Laura said, for cardiac risk of different drugs, cardiac resynchronization therapies, pacemakers, mostly this. And then, as a next stage, what we are doing is, in this case, would be one specific patient that in which we ingest the data, typically medical images of the patient, and we create a scenario for this particular patient. So in this case, the user, let's say, will be very interested in measuring biomarkers that can help the user to see if this therapy is going to be good for this patient.
I find that so cool that we go to this personalized medicine, but at the same time, I have a concern, which is, if I want your simulations to be run, how much time does that take? And if I want this to be done consistently, how many times do I have to take an image? Like, that's a lot of cost.
Sí.
We don't know how much your service costs. Like, how is this market opportunity, right? And how how much of a burden is it for the current medical system?
This is a very important thing, because first of all, we want to do anything that we want that we do must be based on normal practice images. So it is like today you go to your cardiologist, and your cardiologist says, well, I'm going to prescribe you a cardiac magnetic resonance and an electrocardiogram, let's say, suppose this. So you go, I said, well, go, you ask for a slot, and you go, let's say, next week. Mm-hmm. And then once the results are done, in the following week, you go to the doctor, let's say 2 weeks or something. Yeah. So the idea is that we can do this, our stuff, we can do it in parallel to that. So when you go to the magnetic resonance, this data come to our system. We produce the virtual human, your virtual heart. Also, the doctor said what would be the therapy that he would like to, or different options of the therapy. And then at the moment that he received the information on the CMR, he received also the information on the virtual heart. This is kind of the ideal situation, right? Once we have everything in place. So today, as I said, it can take, it's reasonable. It is not real time, but it is human time. It is something that, let's say, in a week for each of the patients can be, at the same time that you have the CMR, you can have it. First. Second, the cost. No, the cost is not that expensive. It should be something that must be, and that was the idea that we had in mind, and that's why we are doing this, because the cost shouldn't be that expensive. It should be something that it is at least comparable with the cost of a CMR, of a magnetic resonance, at least. Okay, but it could be less. It could be, let's say, comparable.
Okay, I understand. And when sorry, you were going to speak. No, I was going to ask you, how are you actually contacting hospitals? Who are you talking with when you are trying to build this market model?
Yes, there are two things. So from the business side, first we have to try to do collaborations with institutions like hospitals in order to collect all that data. For example, in fact, aligned with Mariano was saying, we all did our own virtual heart to get this more data. We went to the doctor, we got our magnetic resonance done.
How was that?
it was an experience. It was fine.
Very nice. They didn't
Yes.
discover anything wrong
No,
on our hearts.
we were lucky.
Yes.
And in the team, at ELEM team, we will have our virtual heart. And so, yeah, that is one side for
That
the
is like
data.
the teacup that they give at ELEM. Instead of giving like the typical teacup at the company, you
Yes.
get your virtual heart.
Your virtual heart. Yes, yes,
Well,
absolutely.
we do have our cup and our
In
heart.
fact, yes. No, but this is
Yes.
true. It is true. It is true.
Good incentives.
Yes. So yeah, from one side is that contacting with hospitals to do like desk collaboration for the data, and of course with more like from the pharma side, with companies, you have to get to know who is the person or how to present your idea in order that people understand, because I know that sometimes we know that sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to understand
Yeah, this is very technical.
the service or the product, so that is kind of tricky to explain it in a way that people can understand, because not everyone has a biomedical engineering background.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now we would like to jump a bit more into the emotional part of building a company and well, for you, Laura, being part of this amazing journey. But our first question would be a bit more for Mariano, because has been working many years in this journey. And it would be to ask you about what's been the hardest moment of building ELEM and a company inside the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, no? Because it's a big institution and it brings a lot of, it needs a lot of effort, and we think that it might be, there might be many hard moments, but what would be the one that you remember that, well, we were near of failing and I was at my limit?
Yes, it was, today BSc is a pretty large institution here for those that do not know.
For the ones that are listening, BSc is Barcelona Supercomputing Center.
Sí, it is Barcelona Supercomputing Center. It's a public research center. We are right now kind of 700 researchers, so it is pretty large.
Oh, yeah.
And it is mostly devoted to supercomputing things, which means a very large computer and applications that are developed to run in this computer. So there are different departments and different teams, and that's it. We started this technology in 2005. I was hired by the institute. It was more or less at the same time as at BSc was created, same year or the year after. It was myself and a friend of mine that were hired. Both of them had been Guillaume. Both of them have been doing the PhD with the same director, so we know each other very well. And we started our technology in the center. We started being two because, well, we have the idea and we started to write the code and develop things. And today the whole team is almost 80 people at the BSc and at ELEM. So it grew a lot. In 2016, more or less, we had a collaborator, which is a company called Medtronic, that they came to us and discussed with us. And, well, they liked very much what they did, and they donate, they started to work with us, but also they donate some money to my team to develop things. It was kind of 2 years in a row that they donate money, and we've been working on that. At certain point, they said, look, it will be great. It is great for us to work with the research center, but this is R&D. If we want to move this more on the business side of the company, it will be better if we work with the company, not with the research center. So it will be very interesting if you think about creating your own company. So this, plus some other signals that we've seen around, lead us to the conclusion that, well, it will be great if we create the company. When we created the company in 2018, it was the third company. There were two companies created at the same time. So let's say it was the second or third company that was created by the center. Today, BSc has kind of 10, 12 companies created. Our company was in 2018, so in 5 years they created a lot of companies. So as we were the first ones, some of the first ones, and it was in a moment in which Spain was also kind of starting to boil the idea of creating companies. It was not easy, not easy for us and not easy for the center, because it was plenty of uncertainties. We don't know how to do these different things, so there were plenty of iterations between the different institutions, and so it was like this, kind of just going zigzag. Now it is much better, so it was good that we were one of the first ones, because they facilitate things for the rest. And it was like creating the company was sort of a roller coaster. Some day you're okay, some other day you are not, because the important thing is and on this I have to acknowledge that Chris, which is other co-founder and it is the CEO of the company, was very important, because at some point he said, look, you need to get out of BSc and we need to start the company. So at this moment, we had already discussed with some angel investors. Mm-hmm. We gathered the necessary amount of money to start the company. So then I jumped from BSc to the company. I still am researcher at BSc, but part-time. And this is very important. So I think that the important moment is not to delay the creation of the company infinitely. Because if you wait until you start having customers, then you will not do it. Because if you are waiting for that, you are in the research center, you are not going to have any customer. So the important thing is at some point say, no, we are going to focus on the company and everything that is related to the company. Of course, keeping the link with the university or with the center. So I think this is the key moment. And once you achieve this, then things, then start the real roller coaster of the company, but it is a very important moment.
What was the thing that made you and your colleagues continue this journey, even given this roller coaster? Like, what made you keep this?
Because, first of all, there are things around that tell this is a good idea, it's a good move. But another, from my personal point of view, is that when you do research, you typically, at least in Europe, you typically struggle to get fundings, to get money to do your research. Maybe your salary is already paid, but you want to have collaborators around you and students and postdocs and whatever. So this means that you go through competitive schemes to get your money. And as I said, we were pretty successful, because today we are 80. So it was fine.
That's a good sign.
Yes, it is. But, it's like the more people you have working with you, the more ideas are flourishing around, and the more money you need. So it is like at certain point you said, okay, I don't want to be limited by this. I need resources from other places, and I see that what I'm doing can become a business. So perhaps I can create a business from that, and it, of course, is going to be a technology-based business. So it is very highly related to R&D. So it is like something that is beneficial for everyone. And at this moment is when you said, okay, let's go after that. And even if it is a roller coaster, but at least you said, but I have a good final objective.
And you, Laura, having a biomedical science background, how did you end up in business development in ELEM?
Well, in fact, in my undergraduate studies, during my undergraduate studies, I got to do some business subjects in the pharmaceutical industry. And then, I had clear that I wanted to be in the pharmaceutical industry. And so I sent an email to Mariano, because I got to know ELEM. And, from my background, I was not a biomedical engineer, so I wouldn't be doing the technical side on R&D. But as I like the industry part, I'm so happy to be in the business development team.
And what is your typical everyday in the company?
Well, so you have to make the business, the company grow, no? So, well, in collaboration with Mariano and also Chris, who is the CEO, as Mariano has said, and other people, which is in the team, we, well, as I've said before, we try to get to know who would be our customers, try to sell the product in a way that is attractive for the others, for the customers, and look for synergies with the ecosystem and with what ELEM can offer.
I have two questions for that. The first is, as currently a startup, do you actually have any real customers you are giving the services to? And the second one, talking about the synergism, and I think you mean the different organ models and all this stuff. Are you actually collaborating with any other companies, any other startups, or maybe research teams that are working on different organs, trying to make a complete model for a certain case or something like that? Those are the two questions. So customer and the...
Yes, we have customers. We have two of them, I can tell, but we have more. I can tell because we are publishing papers with them. So one is Boehringer, pharmaceutical company, and we are working with them in the cardiac safety of drugs.
Okay.
And then the other one is Medtronic. So in which we are working, writing a paper on cardiac resynchronization therapies.
Those are good customers.
Are good customers, and yes,
big companies.
And one is on pharma, and the other one is on medical devices.
So the first one is more clinical trials, maybe, and the second one is more personalized medicine.
Kind of, because in the second one also we are the work that we are doing on cardiac resynchronization therapy is a sort of in silico clinical trial, in the sense that it is not compared to real ones, but it is on the trying to understand which is a good resynchronization therapy for a given kind of patients. But but it is true what you said. Maybe in medical devices at this moment we are working, let's say, closer to an individual patient, and in pharma we are working closer to a cohort, to a clinical trial
population.
Yeah, I see. And about the second part, the different organ models?
Yes. Well, we have the fact that we are a technology company is that we are all the time discussing or talking with other teams that are doing some work that can be complementary to us, especially on in projects in which you have different partners that are paid by Europe or Spain. So we work with regarding modeling, we work with another team completely different in the life science department in BSc. To include this molecular problem on the heart. But in this particular case, as they work they work from the cell to below, let's say. And in this case, as this technology can be applied not just to the heart, so what we are working on, or we wrote a project to work on different organs, like the digestive organ and cancer and different sort of things. Also, we work on the respiratory system. We work with other partners that mostly they are not, they can be on modeling, but also hospitals and companies that can provide data. I see. Another a very interesting one is a project that we have to look for money to keep on working on that, but the preliminary results are really very encouraging.
That's for you. That was indirect.
It's what we call the virtual pregnancy lab, because the uterus is a muscle, as a heart is a muscle, but there are you have to tweak some of the parameters to make it closer to the uterus of a pregnant woman, so we can simulate the contractions of a pregnant woman.
Wow.
And this is done with a partner in the US, a university in the US, Washington. In San Luis. I don't remember very well. The name is a bit difficult. And this is also a very interesting project. And well, as I said, we are working at different organs also. Yes.
Yeah, but with synergism, what you were saying is not that. It's looking for the common points that we can have from our company with other companies, like which lines of collaboration or selling or marketing.
Where can you both fit?
Yes.
I see. Okay. At that point, and maybe I'll keep on the organ part. And here, I think in our degree, most of the people, not him, but most of the people are very interested in the brain, neuroscience. Everyone takes neuroscience electives, and I think one question that they have is: are you willing to model the brain? Are you ever going to do that? Are you collaborating with people that actually want to model that? What is your vision about that?
Well, the question would be: are you crazy enough to try to model the brain?
How can anyone do that? But no, maybe in the future, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe someone is saying, I see an opportunity here, right?
Yes.
Creating my ELEM Biotech 2, and I do the brain.
No,
right?
there are crazy people, crazy enough to do this. Personally, myself, I remember many years ago I started reading books and papers on the brain, and it is kind of something that I have in mind, let's say.
I don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have in mind. It is something I would like a lot to do it. But in our case, it would be, we cannot start from scratch. So we need to collaborate with some team that needs kind of, let's say, a good linking point for us is always because we develop a very efficient code to run in supercomputers. So it's a general code. Our code is used in aerospace also for combustion, for composites modeling, turbulence modeling.
That's the
in
cool
different
part.
in different fields. So we have a tool that can be used at different fields. So this is in general, this is the linking part. So if you have a team that develop a model of the brain of some kind at some level, and it is too complex, and you need some efficiency and programming in a code and running a supercomputer, whatever, then maybe we can sit on a table and chat if we can help. So I don't discard it.
Yeah, regarding that, is what Mariano was saying. The physiology of the human body is that complex that you need a technology that is at that level of complexity. So that is one of the one of the advantages of ELEM, that we have such complex and high tech that can model that high bio that we have in the complexity. The word would be complexity from the supercomputer technology and the physiological human.
Totally, and the heart. I mean, of course, it's a muscle, but in the neurons you have electrical impulses too. So it's electrophysiology, and then the thing is, how do those signals actually mean something, right? I think that's something we're going to touch upon, right?
And well, I have to ask a little bit of science fiction, but sorry, this is very interesting. I guess you are familiar with other projects of virtual humans, such as Baby X, which are simulate how neural networks work, and well, they are biologically inspired.
Creepy.
Yeah, they're creepy, but well, I have to ask this because this is a very popular topic. So, can human consciousness be transferred to a computer? Because well, the logical answer is no, but
or the desired answer.
Yeah, or the desired answer. I mean, yes. What do you think?
I think that we are yet not there. But yes, I like to say, I read a book a few weeks ago. I finished it a few weeks ago. It's a very nice book. It's by a Chilean author called Benjamin Labatut. It's about it's the biography of John von Neumann, which is one of an extremely smart guy. And at some point in the book, it said that he was looking for the mathematical roots of reality. So I like a lot this concept, and we can say that we are looking for the mathematical roots of biology, and transfer them in a computer code. So if you can think that consciousness can be governed and modeled by a mathematical model, then you can think of translating it in a computer. And then God help us. I don't know, we'll see. But well, we are not yet there.
I would say the same as Mariano.
Yeah.
We will see. We never know where technology can...
I hope I'm not here anymore to see it, to be honest, because it's kind of scary. But
It's kind of scary, yes.
You could be cleaning your house or something.
It could be fun.
It could be fun. It depends on...
yeah, it is fun until it is not. So I don't want to take the risk.
You can program it to understand every joke you said. So it can laugh at you and
yes,
for no reason.
that's a little bit narcissistic.
Yes, you want it for that. Because I don't laugh at your
like
jokes.
you want a slave, basically.
Yes, but see, it is there is this a similar discussion with the AI things, no? So in the AI is like if this is going to replace human or is going to take control. So it is good, I think, that this debate appears now, because as things, it will be very bad if this debate appears when it is too late.
Yeah.
But well, discussion is now, and we'll see.
And very quickly, because we're going to get out of time, and I mean we could go for hours here about artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. You talked about you could do like a fully deterministic model, you could do a predictive model, you could do a mix of both. I'm very interested in that because I love AI. So for anyone at home, artificial intelligence is basically using a computer to predict something out of data. And how are you actually going to because Oscar Cámara explained this to us, but I didn't get it really. How does artificial intelligence get into these models? I wouldn't like it to predict. I want it to be deterministic, right? This works this way. I don't want it to predict anything. I like to explain this in a way that I think anyone can understand. You all have tried paella, right? Mm-hmm. You all have tried risotto, right? Yep. So, and you all have tried arroz con leche. Let us suppose that you never try arroz con leche. So you have tried both of them, paella and risotto. And then I tell you, well, now you're going to try arroz con leche. Can you, before getting this arroz con leche, and based on your previous experience, can you tell me how it will look like, what will the taste, the color? And you said, well, what I will do is I have my previous experience, paella and arroz and risotto. So for me, it's going to be something, it will be more or less like rice, more or less like, well, kind of browny things between the yellow and the white, and will be kind of a mixture between cheese and seafood, the taste. So in some aspects you were right. In some aspects you were right, but in others you were not that right. Then I tell you, okay, I will give you more information. It is a dessert. So you said, okay, so it'd be all right. It'd be kind of a mixture between cheese and seafood, but sweet. Yet you have problems.
Getting disgusting.
This is AI. So in AI, there are some things, some information that you can get that is pretty good, but it will a lot depend on the previous information. It will depend a lot on the quality of the information and on the supplementary information that I can give. Now let us suppose that you never tried paella, you never tried risotto, and I give you the recipe of arroz con leche. If you read the recipe, even if you never cooked, but at least by reading the ingredients, you can say, well, it will be something like rice, it will be sweet, definitely, no cheese, no seafood. Maybe the idea that you have is not that good. And as long as I get in more information, but it will be very precise if I give you more information. But then you will say, yes, but the problem is that you need the recipe. If you don't have the recipe, then you cannot do it. Or if you don't know how to cook, or if you don't know the ingredients, you cannot. So this is a mechanistic model. In the mechanistic model, you need to have the recipe. Now, what you can do is, I can, based on my experience, I can try to understand the recipe. So if I have the recipe, then I will know more, but I have to know it. So this is the difference, the main difference between the two of them. And the idea is that at this moment, I think, and what we do a kind of mixture of them. We can even something that you can do based on AI is to improve or know the recipe. Try to know the recipe, not try to know how it tastes, but try to know the recipe. So this is, or you can use, you know the recipe, but you don't know the proportions of the different things that you have to put. So you can use your artificial intelligence to get the thing. So
to get your model completely fit or better
yes,
fit,
or
yes.
better, yes. But your model, not the outcomes of
not
the
the
model.
outcome. Yeah, okay.
So
I see.
There are some problems in which you cannot do that. You cannot find the recipe. There are some other problems in which you have very low resolution data, but a lot. You can have millions of ECGs, for instance, but you cannot have millions of cardiac magnetic resonances. So it depends on the kind of data that you have. So for me, the best idea is kind of to mix the two things, the two approaches.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, perfect. I think we touched upon all the things about the model. I mean, we could spend much more time.
But we have to
wrap this up a little bit. So, as always, we want to finish with two things. How does a biomedical, and this is maybe more for Mariano, maybe for you, but maybe also you have seen it. How do you see the role of a biomedical engineer in your company, right? To encourage anybody who wants to, or in computational modeling as a field, and an advice to any of these biomedical engineers for their careers?
Bueno, I'm not a biomedical engineer, I'm a physicist, but here you have the example. So I have to say that we have, today we have 3 persons that are working with us, hired, that did biomedical engineer here in the UPF. And out of the 3, 2 of them did first an internship with us, and they decided to stay with us. So sorry, 4 of them. 3 of them. With 3 of them, we had they did the internship, and then we offered them a job. We are working we have internships all the time of students of UPF, of the Universidad de Barcelona.
One is on our team,
UPC.
Yep.
Yes. So one of the students.
Yes, Esther is in the podcast team.
Esther, yes. Bien. Esther is starting now in February. So, yes, there is plenty of room. I have to say that bioengineers coming from Barcelona, from the 3 different universities, and also from the modeling master in La Autónoma, they are very good, and we are very happy. You don't need to have a PhD. In fact, 2 of our bioengineers that are working with us, they are doing the PhD with us. So I think these kind of startups are really a very good opportunity. Here, Barcelona is really boiling with these startups, biomedical startups.
Sure. And just to wrap it up, what would be a final advice that you would give to a biomedical engineer?
To do I think that what it is interesting is to do a bit of scouting in all the businesses that are creating here, also here and also in Europe. So going to spend some time abroad. But if there is no way of spending, I wouldn't be that obsessed on going abroad, because today there are very interesting things here, and we have to put this black on white. It is easier from the administrative point of view and legal point of view, it is easier to work in your own country.
Yeah.
If we even for instance, today we are
much faster,
all the things.
So little problems.
El NIE, no sé qué. So it is okay. You can come as an Italian, for instance. You can come to work here, but you have to get the NIE. It can take months, and if you want to do an internship, then you cannot wait for months. Yeah. So, but anyway, to do some scouting.
It's a problem for the company and.
It's a problem for the company, yes, because for the company it's very discouraging, because you have a very good student that is coming, I don't know, whatever, from Germany, and it is very difficult to get him. However, The good point is that at least here in the Barcelona area, there are very, very good students, like very likely the three of you. So, well, it's there are good companies and good students, so it's a good combination.
Well, and thanks for being here. We need to end this episode. It has been a complete pleasure to have you both here, and
thanks to all of our viewers and the people down there behind the fourth wall, making sure this goes right. Again, thank you to you, and
thanks to you for inviting us.
Thank you very much.
It
was a pleasure.
No worries. And follow us on our socials, and see you on the next episode.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.